All right, family. You already know what time it is, man. You live, you rocking with the general. We about to get busy once again. Today we're gonna be talking about African avatars, Jedi, and the Jinn. All of this is dealing with the serpentine energy of our people symbolically. You see, we got to read the symbols are powerful, especially with African people. You got to know the symbols. You don't know the symbols, then you're gonna be lost. Okay, and so we have zoo types, just like and a zoo type could be just like Jesus is known as the lamb. You see, Ra, his zoo type was the ram. You see, Sobek, his zoo type was the crocodile. You see, and so understandably, one of the zoo types that was symbolic of the Christ consciousness of black people, the primordial black people, was the serpent, also in the East known as the dragon. You see, the dragon. So when we start talking about jinns, there's some mysticism in the spelling. There's some mysticism in the spelling because you're understanding that Naga. See, when you get into the Sanskrit, they might use the G. When you get into Arabic, they use the J. You see, so it'll be Naja. You see, with a J. It'll be Naj, which is serpent. Look it up. So when you see Jinn, all you had to do was flip it. All you had to do is just flip it. N-I-G. I mean J. Naj or Nij. Because they use the the I also, nigger, N-I-G. You see, but if you flip it, you will see N-I-J, which is serpent. All you have to do is look it up. Naja, N-A-J-A. That's the same as Naga, but in the Sanskrit, they use the G. In Arabic, they use the J. That's why when you look at a jinn, it's always serpentine, lower extremities. When you look at the Naga, serpentine, lower extremities. But how many times have we seen these types in Kemetic and Kushite art? You see Osiris as the Naga. You see Aset as the Naga. So many of the pharaohs are depicted as the Naga because the Naga or the serpent is symbolic of immortality. Okay, symbolic of immortality. So let me put this up here. So again, as we were speaking, if you look here, you'll see the serpent that's coming down on the Pharaoh's crown. You see that it is descending from the heavens. The tail is to the heavens. In many depictions of these Nagas, and you will see that they're coming from the heavens because it's symbolic also of cosmic frequency and energy that sits on the pineal gland. The pineal gland is a portal. You see, the serpent is also symbolic of solar frequency and energy. That's why when you see pictures of in science and they depict energy coming down from the sun or in energy in general, they are depicted in serpentine waves. Okay, and when you go into the medical field and you go in and you look at the medical instruments in the hospitals and you see it be you'll see that as long as you're living, you got them serpentine waves. You flatline, that means you're dead. You see, brew, you hear that brew. You feel what I'm saying? And so it's symbolic of solar. And so again, when you start dealing with the serpent, it's all symbolic of also of solar frequency. Okay, symbolic of solar frequency. And that's key because when it sit on the pineal gland, it produces the elixir of life that we call melanin. They knew about melanin. You see, and they attribute melanin to the cosmic melanin that you see out there in the cosmos, the womb of Newt, the black hole, the blackness, the chaos of creation. All things came out the churning chaos. You see, it was living and everything that come about. Now it's crazy because I got into some of the chaos beings like Venom. You see, Venom is one of them in Marvel Comics, is that chaos being. And when you get into his story, and it talks about this blackness, this churning blackness of creation, you know, that these creatures came from, you know, and they got this one, and then you see him, and he's inside of this ball of blackness, and these beings, whatever they call these beings, because Venom is one of them beings, they have formed a damn ball around him, and the king is sitting in the middle of the black ball on a throne, which is symbolic of the comet. You know, they got him looking like a Neanderthal, but that's not what it is. You feel me? They're using symbolism to let you know that there's a king. The God is sitting on the throne, but the God is you. You see, when you looking on, it's like you looking inside of you. You are the Godhead that's sitting on the throne in the pineal gland. This is a portal, you see, and you will see also. Let me put this in here. Many of the times when you see the serpent on the head of the Pharaoh, it'll make that it'll make that circle. You see, and then it'll rise up. You know, and the circle is symbolic of a portal that you can receive, and you can send information. You can transport your consciousness into the cosmos. You can receive information from the cosmos. Okay, it's a receiver and a sender. It is a portal. You see that you could transport your consciousness into the cosmos to, you know, for whatever it is you searching for. You see, when you go into your mind, you going into the when you meditate, you going into the cosmos. That's where you're going. Okay. You going into the from inside. Okay. A lot of people think you got to go, you know, you can go into to the cosmos from inside. You know, the portals is here. You don't have to, you know, to get you out there. But out there is in here. And that's what you have to understand. So again, when you talking about the jinn, you talking about a naga, a spiritual naga. You see, it's much the same, you know, much the same. Set is one of the lords of the jinn, of that particular story, because of where they supposedly come from. Set was his domain is where the Nubians mine for gold. You understand? Out there in the desert, this was one of his areas, and that's why they call him a Lord of Nut. Nubt. That was the city that was prominent in the worship of Set, the city of Newt, Nubt, the city of gold. And so the areas where they mined out in the desert, you understand, were considered the domains of Set. So when they went out there to mine for gold, they had to pay homage to Set. Well, that's a lot of where they say the Jinn, the original homes of the Jinn is out in that area. Okay, and they are also, you know, the genie, and they are uh connected to treasures. You see, they're connected to treasure. When you look at the genie and you see he got the genie, and when you watch when Aladdin and them come on, they go into a cave, and you know, and it's nothing but gems and jewels and all of that. And so you know, so this was and that's also with the dragon. The dragon is also because the jinn and the dragon, the leprechaun, you all of them, you get the treasure. You see the leprechaun, my goal, you know. Where me go? You feel me? The dragon. If you watch Lord of the Rings, the dragon dwell within the mountain, and he, with gold and diamonds and jewels, and you see, and also with the genie. Also, all of them are depicted as protectors of treasures. You see, of treasures. And so, but you know damn well ain't no and knowledge, not just treasures, but knowledge. Also, you will see the dragon, what they call the bookworm, the bookworm, not the worm like they spell it WURM. People think they talking about it's similar because a worm is serpentine, but the bookworm, the worm is German for dragon, and you'll see the dragon reading books. You see, the owl is a manifestation of the dragon. You will see him with the book because the dragon can metamorphosis. He can metamorphosize into anything. So you got you got the owl dragon, and so you see the similarity. These are the zoo types of the African primordials, no different than the lamb is a symbol of the Christ. You see, so you will see many of these symbols, and we'll break that down. But Jinn is also spelled, you got it DJINN. You can spell it JIN, and it's the same pronunciation as GEN, Jinn. Genesis, gene. You see, that's why when you look at the helix of DNA, it's depicted serpentine. You see, and so Gen, the pronunciation, but the spelling is the same. GIN, Gen. You see, you're dealing with spirits. That's why they call it spirits. You see, when you drinking gin, spirits. But when you flip gin, JIN, you get nig, NIG, nigga, naga. You see, and so you see both the gin and the naga are serpentine. So you see, sometimes them words flip and they mean the same thing. They're just like ale, but you spell it like tempale. But you don't spell it. It's TEMLE. It's not TEMEL. I don't believe it's wait a minute. Let me get it right. It's temple. Let me get that right. Let me spell it right. TEMPLE. Is I'm right? I'm right. Let me make sure I'm right. I got my science. Temple. That's right. TEMPLE. But temple is also connected to El, the God El. But the E that is flipped. The LE is flipped, but it's still in the energy of El. Temple is always depicted as El. In manifestation of the God El, but you see the L and the E is flipped. So a lot of times you could flip these words and they have the same meaning. So with Jinn, you get a gender, genie, which in genie you get Genesis. I mean, genie, which you get genius. You see, and so you tapping into your genius, this energy inside of you, this jinn or this genie, which some people call it the daemon. And the daemon is these energies, these energies or spirits that's inside of you. They come with you when you born. They come with you, they almost like guardian spirits. And you when you tap into them, you understand they damn near give you a cheat sheet, a cheat code on life, on how to be the best you can be. So when you tap into your genius, you tapping into your genie, you tapping into your genius, your gene. You see, so in ancient time, in reference to us, it was when you see the serpent on your forehead, that's the jinn, that's the genie. You see, to let it out, the genie out of the bottle. You see, and let the serpent, that's letting the serpent you manifest in the Christ consciousness. When you rise to the Christ consciousness, you see, which is the genius. And so you also get Genesis, beginning. And so many times the dragon was looked at as a creator deity. You see, genetics. Again, you dealing with the helix. You dealing with the helix, the DNA, the gene. You see, even begin. You see, gen in that begin, gen, just like Genesis. See how you can use in one, you use GEN, Genesis. In begin, you use GIN. So the I, the E is interchangeable. You see, it's interchangeable. The A is interchangeable. So you can use the many of the vowels you can use interchangeably. The I, the E, and the A. So nigger, Jinn is Naja, which is still the serpent. When you flip it, when you spell Naja in Arabic, is Naja. With Naga in Sanskrit is Naga. So when you see Jinn, all you have to do is flip it. You can knock the first N off, you get Nij, Nij, but the J is the G. So you get Nig, which is still Nika, with Naga. It's still Naga. It's still a serpent. Okay. Again, that's why the Naga is depicted with the lower extremities of a serpent, and the Naga is the lower extremities of the serpent. Engineer. You see, because knowledge, all the jinn, the genie, the dragon, the owl, they all depicted as lovers of books and knowledge. So when you see engineer, you see the jinn in there, original from the beginning, from the origin, original, beginning. You see original. You see it's in there, beginning. You see imagine. You see where's that at? Imagine, virgin. That's another one that's depicted. That's why when you start getting into that, you see our set as the Naga, you see, and the Virgin, and then when you go over there to Saint Peter's Basilica, you understand, and you understand what basilica means. Basilisk. Basilisk is the giant serpent that if he look at you one time, he could kill you with just a look. Basilisk is the masculine form. Basilica is the feminine form of the serpent. So when you see Saint Peter's Basilica, you speaking about the serpent. You know what I'm saying? And the Virgin is also speaking to that. Okay, so and again, we've already spoken about the avatar, because the avatar is the Christ consciousness descending down as the serpent, and it sit right there on the pineal. Now, I didn't tap into the the Jedi, which the Jed pillar is the spine of Osiris. You're dealing with the chakra system. The spine is serpentine. You tapping in again. That's why when you see a lot of the crowns, especially them Nubian crowns, you will see the serpent not only at the top, coming down. A lot of times you will see it coming from the back of the skull all the way to the front. And on the Nubian crown, you will have two of them. You see, I done seen them make a circle at the top of the head. The serpent would make a circle at the top of the head and sit on the pineal gland, showing you the crown. You see, but then again, you got you got the nagra, substantia nagra. That's back here in the base of the skull, where you got a melanin, a pool of melanin. It's a melanin center that sit right here in the back or the brain, you see. And so when you start dealing, and that lets you know that, I mean, right there, That's the conductor of all cosmic energy and frequency. And how, your brain communicate with the body is no different to how it communicate out there in the cosmos. That melanin in your body and your brain that help you function and help you transmit thoughts and commands throughout the body is the same cosmic melanin that's out there in the universe. And so, we will begin to understand that the God is in us. Is no God on the outside, because what's on the outside is in the inside. Once you understand you and your magnificent mechanisms of divinity, everything on the outside will become a whole lot clearer to you. And you will, and you won't get caught up worshiping no damn no damn fictional characters and shit. You won't get caught up doing nothing like that. You'll know that the God is in you. But anyway, family, black neuro-melanin. That's right. That's right. That's right. Basilica birth plug. Oh man, you in there dropping all type of knowledge in there, right? I wasn't looking at it because I was trying to teach, but I want y'all to get on over there to Patreon. The link is at the top of the chat. And matter of fact, we'll do the next one tomorrow, family. I'm gonna tighten everything up and I'll get back with y'all tomorrow. Black Power.